The sound of war drums reverberated across the galaxy, but the beats were not from any alien race. It was the humans once thought to be weak, insignificant, and easily manipulated by the more advanced civilizations who had dared to raise their voices in defiance. Now, the Galactic Alliance knew what it was like to underestimate humanity. The first indication that things were about to change came from a small, inconspicuous transmission intercepted during routine surveillance. It was a message from Earth, a planet the Alliance had dismissed as primitive, full of infighting, and incapable of achieving anything beyond their pale blue dot. The message itself was simple, almost laughable, and yet it carried an ominous weight. We declare war on the Galactic Alliance. Prepare for the consequences. At first, no one took it seriously. Humans had always been chaotic, unpredictable, but beneath the surface, they were thought to be a species whose power was nothing more than primitive weaponry and an unyielding will to survive. However, it only took a few days for the galaxy to realize the truth. Elizabeth had always known that her people, humans, were underestimated. She'd seen it in the eyes of alien diplomats, heard it in the dismissive tones of interstellar traders. But when the Galactic Alliance ignored the message, Elizabeth saw a spark, an opportunity to make the universe listen. She was no soldier, no general, but she had seen the tides of history shift before, and she knew that sometimes it was the smallest act of defiance that set everything in motion. Her partner, Evan, was more pragmatic. He'd spent years working with the Intergalactic Defense Force, studying the alien technologies that could make the human race a force to be reckoned with. Unlike Elizabeth, Evan understood the sheer scale of the problem. The Alliance wasn't just powerful, it was vast. It spanned across multiple galaxies, its armies composed of beings that could wipe out entire fleets with a single thought. The humans were no match for that. Or were they? Evan and Elizabeth found themselves standing before a small command center, deep beneath the surface of Mars, now converted into a military base. The room was buzzing with activity, alien technology humming in the background, yet there was a palpable sense of unease. The countdown had already begun. Humans weren't just preparing for war, they were preparing for a revolution. "We can't win this," Evan said quietly, his voice filled with the weight of years of training. "At least not in the way they expect us to." Elizabeth looked at him, her expression steely, unwavering. "We don't have to win. We just have to make them realize they were wrong about us. That's the real victory." The two of them stood in silence for a moment, knowing that what they were about to unleash would alter the course of history. Across the galaxy, the first wave of human forces, equipped with hybrid weapons and shield technologies designed in secret, launched their attacks. It wasn't with grand fleets or massive bombardments. It was far simpler. Human ingenuity. Evan had crafted an experimental weapon, one that combined their archaic artillery with stolen alien tech. Its power was unpredictable, even dangerous, but it was humanity's answer to overwhelming odds, adaptability. And it worked. The first strike hit the galactic capital before they had even realized what was happening. A small battalion of human-made ships, barely visible on the radar, had infiltrated the heart of the Alliance's defenses. In the blink of an eye, the galactic capital was on fire. The response from the Galactic Alliance was immediate and brutal. Fleet after fleet surged towards Earth, determined to end this rebellion once and for all. But they underestimated the one thing that had always set humanity apart: resilience. Humans had been fighting wars for centuries, long before they ever ventured into the stars. They knew how to survive, how to adapt, how to keep fighting even when the odds were stacked against them. Elizabeth's heart raced as she watched the holographic map flicker with incoming fleet positions. Every major species in the Alliance had dispatched their forces. The psionics of Yalith, whose minds could reshape reality itself. The reptilians of Shinar, whose scales were as tough as the strongest metals. The Asian, creatures capable of teleporting through dimensions. The odds were astronomical. And yet humanity didn't retreat. They didn't even flinch. In secret bases scattered across the solar system, human ingenuity was on full display. Ships built out of debris from destroyed alien technology, weapons crafted from discarded parts. and a new kind of soldier, one who fought not for glory, but for survival, for their families, for the future of their species. The Galactic Alliance might have had power, but humanity had something more, the will to keep fighting. No matter the cost, we're not backing down, Elizabeth said. Her voice unwavering, Evan nodded, his hands hovering over the console, ready to unleash their final weapon. It wasn't a bomb, nor a fleet of ships. It was something far simpler, far more human, a beacon. A signal sent out to every corner of the galaxy, broadcast on frequencies that no one had ever thought to use. The message was clear, a reminder to the galaxy of who they were dealing with.